details, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of The Mediator with me, your host, Brian West, here to give you the top 8 headlines and developing news stories that made it in this week. Now, as usual, I'll give you the top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made it in first. Then I may do a movie clip, a skit, or something that's going on in the community, or a trailer. And then I'll give you the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. So let's waste no time. Let's get to it. Story number 1. COVID-19 shuts down Panerathon. Cavelli Enterprise and the Mercy Health Foundation have announced that there will be no Panerathon race August 30th of this year. According to local reports, the race has been canceled due to COVID-19 restrictions in Mill Creek Park. The restrictions are to last throughout the summer and has put a strain on many other local events scheduled in the park as well. The story is still developing. Story number 2, improvements coming to South Avenue in Mahoning County. New road project to improve South Avenue is in preparation. The road section parallel to St. Luke Church is set to begin July 1st and continue through September 30th of 2021, according to Mahoning County engineer Pat Giannetti. Story number 3, the Charis Act could be providing some much-needed help in the Valley. A $3.81 million grant is set to aid businesses and assist the homeless. With Youngstown's high poverty rates and a desire for more businesses and economic development, the city could use any help it can get. Local residents have been pushing for better living conditions and a higher standard of living for years. City officials plan to use the funds to assist those in need by providing training, short-term emergency payments, oversight, monitoring, technical assistance, and more. This story is still developing. Story number 4, some local NAACP leaders in the headlines. Many local NAACP reps want police to be more accountable for their actions. After years of reports of numerous complaints about the justice system, many now see a need for justice reform, starting with how the police interact when making arrests. Over the years, police have called for better communities, while activists have called for better police. This story is still developing as each side tries to justify their claims, which may be hard due to the lives lost in this fight. Big developing story. Story number 5, Youngstown police focusing on the future. After a flood of headlines, YPD held training to talk about the future of using force and improving relations with the public. Such meetings highlight a new wave of police departments now considering adjusting to public demands for change. This story homes in on the growing divide between the police and public affairs. Some see no need to adjust to the demands of those who break the law, but some do. This story is still developing. Big headline. Story number 6, Youngstown shifting gears on water rates. After July 1st, Youngstown water rates may jump by $10. This after some local council members are concerned that the water fund could end the year with a deficit. Some council members are saying it's because of $1 million in delinquent water bills from customers due to COVID-19. The deficit could also be due to past rate reductions and $5 million in water money used for economic development that depleted funds from a surplus of $14,428,000 on January 1st of 2016. It depleted those funds to now $2,151,000 after 4 years. So you see a big difference as the funds went from $14 million and some change to now $2 million and some change. And now the city council been believing that the year will end in a deficit that should be handled with a $10 increase. This story is still developing. Big headline. Story number 7 in the top 2 local headlines and developing news stories that made it in this week. Will Ohio be able to fight COVID-19 without Amy Acton leading the way? after headlines surfaced about Dr. Amy Acton's resignation as Ohio's health director. Some are still left in the dark about what was taking place behind the scenes. Multiple stories about lawmakers, residents, and business owners' frustration with aggressive stay-at-home orders may have led to the resignation. Still a mystery. Such stories that crept in and out of the headlines show how divided the entire country still is when it comes to getting a grip on COVID-19. Another big developing story. Story number 8, and the top headline and developing news story that made it this week. Around $5.2 million for the Youngstown City Schools renewal levy. A lot of money. Youngstown City School changes go all the way back to the early 90s, and now comes another voting season. The new CEO is asking for the renewal of a yearly operation budget of about $5.2 million, which Jennings has little time to get the public to act on. The levy in place now expires in 2021. Jennings wants the public to be aware that the school system is not asking for additional money, just a renewal. Youngstown City Schools has seen their fair share of ups and downs over the years, and everyone knows that education is the key for a better future. The school system is projected to face a deficit whether the levy passes or not. This is still developing, and hopefully people see a need to increase and continue to invest in education with tax dollars. Big top story this week. Well, those are our top 8 headlines and developing local news stories that made it this week. I'll be right back. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back with the top 8 international news stories. So don't go anywhere. You're in the Mediator with me, Brian West. I'll be right back.
If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
If you want to check out the stories that almost made it in or did make it in, go to our Twitter feed on our website. Check out everything. All of the sources are there. And go to the website. It's method8inc.com, method8inc.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or just sponsor a program.